Let me ask you a question. Have you ever found yourself standing at the top of a staircase or looking at a slightly uneven sidewalk and just pausing? A moment of hesitation that wasn't there a few years ago? Maybe you've started looking down at your feet a lot more when you walk, almost as if you can't quite trust them to do their job. If that feeling sounds familiar, I want you to know you are not alone. And more importantly, I want you to know that what you're feeling is not a life sentence. There's a common myth that losing your balance and a fear of falling is just an inevitable part of getting older, that it's something we simply have to accept. Well, I'm here today to respectfully, but firmly, challenge that idea. The truth is, most falls are preventable. What's even more surprising is a statistic from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, which finds that more than 1 in 4 older adults fall each year, but less than half ever mention it to their doctor. We stay silent, often out of a sense of pride or a fear of being seen as a burden. But that silence is what gives the fear its power. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, a vicious cycle that can steal our confidence and our independence. My goal in our time together today is to help you break that cycle. My name is Dr. Allen, and as a physical therapist who has spent decades working with incredible older adults, I've seen firsthand how a fear of falling can shrink a person's world. But I've also had the privilege of seeing hundreds of people reclaim their confidence and walk with the same strength and ease they thought was gone forever. This isn't about getting old. It's about adapting, getting stronger, and staying in control. In this guide, we're going to walk through a complete science-backed plan to do just that. We'll start by understanding the psychology behind this fear. Then, we'll move into simple, powerful exercises you can do at home, many of which are recommended by institutions like Johns Hopkins Medicine. We'll cover mindful walking techniques to retrain your gait, quick ways to make your home safer, and even something as simple but crucial as the shoes on your feet. You'll definitely want to stick around for the part about our walking habits. It's something many of us do without a second thought, but it can make a world of difference. By the end of this video, you will have a practical, empowering toolkit to not just walk safer, but to walk with true confidence again. Before we dive into our actionable steps, we need to address the feeling itself. We have to start by acknowledging and validating this fear, because it is very, very real. It's not all in your head. Let me tell you about a client of mine. Let's call her Eleanor. Eleanor had always been the matriarch of her family, the one who hosted every holiday, the one who took long walks every morning with her dog. One afternoon, she tripped on the edge of a rug in her own hallway. She didn't break anything, just a bruised knee and a bruised ego. But something shifted that day. The seed of doubt was planted. She started picturing what could have happened: a broken hip, a hospital stay, losing her independence. Slowly, without even realizing it, she started saying no to things. No to her morning walks if the ground was a little damp. No to going to the grocery store during busy hours. Her world began to shrink, all from a minor stumble that left a major emotional scar. Her fear was completely valid. It came from a place of wanting to protect herself. The problem wasn't the fear itself. It was the power she unknowingly gave it. So if you've been feeling that same hesitation, that same worry, please hear me. It is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you care about your well-being. And the first step to taking back control is to give yourself permission to feel it, and then decide that you are going to be the one in charge, not the fear. This brings us to the most critical concept we need to understand: the fear of falling cycle. This is a concept well documented in medical literature, including extensive research published in the National Library of Medicine. Think of it like a downward spiral. It starts with that fear we just talked about. Because we're afraid of falling, we logically think, if I do less, I'll be safer. So we reduce our activity. We stop taking those walks. We avoid stairs. We drive to the corner store instead of walking. But here's the cruel irony. This inactivity is precisely what makes us more likely to fall. When we stop moving, our leg muscles get weaker. Our core, which is essential for stability, loses its tone. Our balance system, which relies on constant practice and input, gets rusty. As we get physically weaker and less stable, our fear of falling naturally gets stronger. And a stronger fear leads to even less activity. It's a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. And it can happen so gradually, we don't even see it until we realize we can't do the things we used to love. Breaking this cycle is the entire goal of our work together today. Every single tip that follows is designed to be a wrench in the gears of that downward spiral, to stop its momentum and start pushing it in the other direction, towards more activity, more strength, better balance, and ultimately, more confidence. So let's throw the first and most powerful wrench into that cycle with our first actionable strategy: building foundational strength and balance with simple, at-home exercises. Think of your leg and core muscles as the foundation of your body's house. The first and most important of these is the sit to stand. To do it, sit in a sturdy, armless chair with your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Now, without using your hands to push off, lean forward slightly and push through your heels to stand up straight. Then slowly and with control, reverse the motion and sit back down. If you can't do it without your hands at first, that's perfectly okay. Use them for a little support and work on using them less and less over time. Aim for a set of 8 to 10 repetitions. I had a client named George who could barely get out of his favorite armchair without a big heave-ho. We started him on just 5 sit-to-stands a day. Within a month, he was popping up out of that chair like a toaster. He said it was the first time in years he felt powerful in his own body. The second part of this foundation is balance. A great starting point is the single leg stance. Stand behind that same sturdy chair, holding on to the back for support. Shift your weight onto one leg and slowly lift the other foot off the floor, just an inch or two. Try to hold it for 10 seconds, then switch legs. The goal is to feel your ankle, your leg, and your core muscles all firing and making tiny adjustments to keep you stable. As you get more confident, you can progress. Maybe you just rest one finger on the chair. Then, maybe you hover your hands just above the chair for safety. The red flag here is if you feel significant dizziness, vertigo, or sharp pain during these exercises. That's a clear sign to stop and consult with your doctor or a physical therapist. They can help rule out any underlying issues like inner ear problems and can design a program perfectly tailored to you. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We've covered some really important ground. We're on our way to rebuilding your confidence from the ground up. If you're finding this guide helpful so far, I would be so grateful if you took just 1 second to tap that like button below. It's a small click for you, but it tells YouTube that this is valuable information, and it helps get this guide out to so many other people who might be feeling that same hesitation and looking for a way forward. Now that we are actively working on building a stronger foundation, we need to talk about how we use that strength in our day-to-day life. This brings us to our next strategy: adopting mindful walking techniques. Have you ever noticed your walk changing when you feel a little unsteady? Many people develop a shuffling gait. The hard truth, as backed by biomechanics and recommendations from institutions like the Mayo Clinic, is that shuffling actually increases our fall risk. The action step here is to practice walking with a heel-to-toe pattern. This means your heel should be the first part of your foot to touch the ground, and then you roll through your foot and push off with your toes. This creates a longer, more stable stride and ensures you are clearing the ground with each step. Another key component is posture. When we're afraid, we tend to look down at our feet constantly. This throws our center of gravity forward and, ironically, makes us less balanced. Instead, try to walk with your head up, your shoulders back, and your eyes looking about 10 to 15 feet ahead of you. A little story. A woman I worked with, Mary, was a devoted feet watcher. We practiced walking in a park, and her only job was to describe the trees and the clouds to me. By lifting her gaze, she not only walked more confidently, but she also started enjoying her walks again. If you notice that you have a significant limp, a foot that drags no matter how hard you try to lift it, or if one leg feels dramatically weaker than the other, these are red flags. This isn't just the habit. It could be a sign of a neurological or orthopedic issue that needs to be evaluated by a doctor. Walking with confidence out in the world begins with feeling completely secure in our own personal space. This leads us directly to our next strategy, which is all about creating a safer home environment through some simple, quick wins. It's easy to think we know our own homes like the back of our hand, but familiar hazards are often the most dangerous because we become blind to them. The CDC provides a fantastic checklist for home safety. Let's start with the biggest culprits: throw rugs. If a rug doesn't have a secure, non-slip backing, or if its edges tend to curl up, it's time to either secure it with double-sided carpet tape, or even better, remove it altogether. Next, let's talk about lighting. Many falls happen at night. A simple and immediate fix is to place night lights in your hallways, bathrooms, and kitchen. Also, make sure you have a lamp or a light switch easily within reach of your bed. Another huge win is clearing your pathways. Look at the main routes you walk in your home. Are there stacks of magazines, electrical cords, or small pieces of furniture in the way? Take 10 minutes and clear those pathways completely. A red flag for this area is recognizing that you need more significant modifications. For example, if you find yourself grabbing onto furniture, that's a clear sign that you would benefit from professionally installed grab bars, especially in the bathroom. See it as a smart, proactive upgrade. We've made our home environment safer. Now let's bring our focus down to the very things that connect us to the ground. Our next strategy is all about the crucial role of proper footwear. What do you wear on your feet when you're at home? For so many of us, the answer is either socks or soft, flimsy slippers. Walking around in stocking feet or most standard backless slippers is like trying to drive a car on bald tires. The empowered, intelligent choice is to invest in a good pair of supportive indoor shoes or high-quality structured slippers. The action step is to look for 3 specific things in your footwear. First, a non-slip sole. Second, it must have a low, supportive heel. Third, a closed-back shoe that fits you properly. A client of mine, a lovely woman named Brenda, invested $25 in a pair of supportive, rubber-soled slip-on shoes to wear around the house, and she said the difference in her stability was immediate and profound. She felt planted on the ground for the first time in years. A red flag in this area is if you have significant foot pain, bunions, or diabetes-related foot issues. In these cases, it is essential to talk to your doctor or a podiatrist. So, we have the strong foundation from our exercises. We have the mindful walking techniques. We have a safer home and supportive footwear. We have all the physical tools. This brings us to our final and perhaps most important strategy: building a confidence mindset and knowing when to ask for help. All the physical changes in the world won't stick if our brain is still stuck in that loop of fear. Confidence, like a muscle, is built through repeated, successful experiences. The key is to start small. Today, your goal might be to do your sit-to-stand exercises. That's a win. Tomorrow, your goal might be to walk to your mailbox and back. I once worked with a gentleman who was terrified of curbs after a fall. We didn't start at a busy intersection. We started in his living room, practicing stepping over a shoebox on the floor. We broke down the scary thing into tiny, manageable pieces, and with each successful step, his confidence grew. This is also where knowing when to bring in reinforcements is a sign of strength, not weakness. According to the National Institute on Aging, it is vital to talk to your doctor about your fall risk. Seeing a doctor or a physical therapist is simply hiring a professional coach for your mobility and independence. And a quick but important reminder: the information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only, and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or another qualified health provider. So where does that leave us? Let's just take a moment and look at the incredible ground we've covered together. We began by giving a name to that quiet, creeping fear. Then we moved into action. You learned simple but powerful exercises. You learned how to walk mindfully. You discovered quick, easy ways to make your own home a safer space. And finally, you learned how to build a confidence mindset, one small, successful step at a time. That is the biggest win of all, because it's a win for your independence and your peace of mind. You are not a passenger to the aging process. You are the pilot. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these points was the biggest aha moment for you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Reading your experiences and insights helps everyone in this community feel less alone and more empowered. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want more practical, in-depth guides to help you stay strong, active, and independent, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.